I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone.
I kind of want to get back into that deal. Whenever you went to Texas, I forgot the name.
Corsicana.
Yeah. So what type of project was it? I know you said you're specialized into multifamilies. Was it a multifamily project, or what type of project was it?
No, man, it was it's what we call flips.
Okay.
So with that project, it was a house that had been sitting up from a deceased individual. It was trash. It was terrible. And basically, man, I linked in with a couple guys that was in the area that was looking for work, and we just went in. We pretty much gutted it out, got rid of all of the old appliances, old flooring. We kind of redid the footprint a little bit, kind of made it a little bit more modern. So did some landscaping to it, some cosmetic uplifts. And make it a little bit more modern to 2020 versus I think the house was done in like the 1980s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Time for update.
Yeah, so it was definitely a time flip.
And you mentioned one more very, very interesting part that I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
You said, you wanted to make sure you're hiring people that are smarter than you.
Yeah.
And you always hear that whenever people say this is what you need to be successful.
Yeah.
But what does that look like? Because I feel like a lot of times, even with me, I know sometimes you'll be like, oh man, this person's smarter than me. They'll never come work for me. So what does that look like, getting that person to come to your team and actually buying into your vision?
For me, I'm a very open and transparent person. I knew where I was weak at, and I was weak on more of the administrative and financial aspects. So you probably see her around here sometimes. So I hired a young lady by the name of Sharada. She's been amazing. She's actually from Nepal. And the interesting about her, man, is her drive and her hunger matches mine. So we had this similar personality. And when I sat down and interviewed her, like I explained her my vision of what I saw. And then I turned around and asked her, what would be your vision and what is your plan? And she was very transparent about where she was at in life. She hadn't been too long ago, graduated college, being brand new to DFW, especially being a minority female. I sympathize with what she was going through as far as trying to get into the construction market. And one of the things she told me is that if you hire me, you won't regret it. I hired her. Within 30 days, she had probably brought my company revenue of probably about $200K.
Damn. What she was doing like that?
I mean, she had the same grind I had. Like I'm at home. I wake up the next day. I got emails in my inbox at 9, 10 o'clock. Now, I'm not telling her to work these hours, but we were two of a kind. Like she went through what I went through. Like nobody would give her a shot. Like her back was against the world. She's a minority female that wants to work in the industry of construction. So granted, when you find people like that with a chip on their shoulder, just like I had a chip on my shoulder, it builds positive teams. And one of the things I also learned to do is diversify different areas too. Like I don't want another necessarily me. Like she almost became my boss because every boss needs a boss. I promise you that, man. Like, hey, make sure you get to this appointment. Make sure you get to that. And I needed that because like I said, you want somebody that's for you and has your best interest. And as I continue to interview people, that's kind of what I look for. Like I look for their drive. I look for their hunger because again, I don't have a micromanagement leadership style. Like that's just not how I roll. Like I'm going to empower you. I'm going to equip you, but I'm going to give you the room to grow in the business because it was beneficial to me and I know it'd be beneficial to them.
I like that.
From my experience and just from hiring people and interviewing people, one of the things that I know I look for is looking for people that'll buy into the business and treat it as their own. Is that something you would look for when you're hiring somebody?
Yeah, absolutely. From the field guys to the office staff guys, we meet and the best way, and I'm gonna give y'all a gem, we on this thing, man. We here to help people, right? And so the best way that I explain to all of my employees when we have our sit down lunches is this. Hey guys, when, think about this. If you half-ass a project and we're not getting paid, just know that if I'm not getting paid, the company's not getting paid, we're not getting paid. And if we ain't getting paid, we ain't got jobs.
Mm.
That was the best way to like drive home the point of when you guys go to these people's homes and these clients' homes, be clean, be polite, because they can't wait to tell me how
Yeah.
good or bad their services was. And they're already nervous. They got a young black contractor, so they already nervous. You got to think about it, man. How would you feel? Well, you want me a good example? Think about how would this, and this is not a racist comment at all. This older, late generation, 60, 70-year-old, Caucasian couple just put a $20,000 check in a 32-year-old young black contractor's hand. How do you think they feel?
They'll probably be pretty nervous.
Yeah, of course they
Hell
nervous.
yeah.
They nervous as hell.
Like,
They
Hella hesitant.
huh?
Hella hesitant.
They hella hesitant, right?
yeah.
So, and it's just like, that was the point of like, letting my team know that, hey guys, it's just the nature of the beast working for me. Most of our clients that don't look like us, they're nervous. And rightfully so, because, we have not done a good job overall as young black entrepreneurs of setting that expectation that our quality is excellence.
Mm.
And I do believe that we have those young black entrepreneurs out there, but at the end of the day, it only takes one of us
To mess it up.
It don't matter what industry you in, it only takes one of us to mess it up.
That's a fact. And it's terrible that it's like that, and that you don't get these second chances whenever you do mess up.
Oh no.
Yeah, once you mess up, it's it. Like I hate that it's like that for our community. We either get that, I knew I should have never did this, I should have just stuck with my instincts or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you said, you really highlighted to your team, this is the level of expectation that we need. This is the level of quality that we need, and that we have to do this, or nobody getting paid. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, we're not gonna get paid.
Yeah.
And I remember whenever we first met you, you was telling us about your field guides. You was telling us how you was training them, and you said, I'm actually chilling here right now. I might just go pull up on them to see, like, are they actually setting up and doing the things that I kind of like told them how to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you just said that, you were able to drive it home, and you were able to get them to buy into this company and into your lifestyle, the culture that you have.
Yeah. I personally take the time out, and I work with every position from admin to just a carpenter. I'm not just one of those owners that, sits back, collect the checks, and go eat 5-star dinners. I legit still put on my hard hat and tool belt, every single day if I need to be. Now, granted, my role has changed over the last 2-3 months. I'm more business development now, that, the guys are kind of like on autopilot. I don't have to be there with them as much. Like, they're starting to feel very confident on day-to-day operations. But now I'm very hands-on as an entrepreneur. And it really, the guys, everybody really appreciate it when I am hands-on. Just think about this. How many, just the guys on this call, how many, supervisors, owners, and people that in a high level role, CEO, how many of them, actively are engaged with their employees?
Not very many. Like, that's not a usual thing. Yeah.
It's not a usual thing. So for me, my time is extremely valuable. So I make it a point, and I don't know how long I can do this. Hopefully I can do this forever, as the company grows. I make it a point to try to spend at least a day or so at each project, at least, and balance that time out with my team here at the office. Even if I can't be here physically, it's nothing to get on. Use technology, get on FaceTime, say, hey man, how y'all doing up there? Blah, blah, blah. Send them some lunch. Like, let your employees know that you genuinely do care about them. Like, don't just abuse them up and give them a paycheck and tell them, go away. Spend time with them. Know that, hey, this person had a really bad day, but he also has a sick baby at home, and his wife is, upside his head or stuff because she's at home with the baby all day. Think about how many hours that you have them working, and sometimes you got to come in and say, hey, look, guys, things are getting kind of sloppy. Take tomorrow, go take your kids to school. I've learned like little stuff like that. Show up on a Wednesday, things are good. Hey, I tell you what, everybody come in at 10 tomorrow, man. Wake up, have breakfast with your family, and take your kids to school. Oh man, they come back hard for you on that Friday or that Monday. I'm telling
I
you,
can
they
imagine.
come back like Rambo. Look, wood and nail guns going clank, 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 clank all over the place. Like they lit because they got that emotional recharge of just waking up, spending times with their wives, just over breakfast, or had a chance to take, their kid and drop them off at school. So as I've grew as an entrepreneur, I realized that it don't take much to really keep people happy. Small things like that, give them a morning or two, here and there, to wake up, be able to see their kids wake up and take them to school. Like that goes a long way, because I've worked in the industry with multifamily where you work 60, 70 hours a week. You probably ain't seen for me, it was a little bit different. I'm a single male, so I understand where they're coming from though. They wake up, their kids are in bed. They go to bed, their kids are in bed. And, mom ain't happy. The whole house ain't finna be happy.
No.
You can tell when things ain't all right at home. They be moping around the project site and stuff.
Hell yeah. And I think that's very important. I'm glad that you just highlighted that, because I know a lot of times as entrepreneurs, sometimes we can be so focused on the business and generating this revenue, we forget to stop and think, hey, I'm really dealing with real people. Mm-hmm. These people still have lives, and it doesn't matter what your customer, your employee, at the end of the day, everybody on this earth, what we want to do, be happy. Mm-hmm. So whenever you can make people happy, like you said, they'll come back even harder for you. And that's for your customers and your employees. If you can make your employee happy, because if there's 9 times out of 10, there's 2 types of people. There's employees and there's bosses. The reason why employees either leave a job is, one, they're not being paid enough. They don't feel like they're actually valued. They feel like they're undervalued, or they're just not happy with what they're doing, because once again, it goes back to not being valued. Oh, I'm doing all of this work, but nobody is seeing me. Even like you just saying, hey, y'all did a great job. Take that little 1 hour off. Mm-hmm. That makes somebody say, man, he actually saw me. He saw this work and this quality that I put into, mm-hmm. and he actually, he valued that, and that noticed. And now that's low-key just a sense of reward right there. Yep. Just that 1 hour. And it doesn't matter what it is. Whenever just rewarding someone with something so small as that, as just a notice, as I see you, that'll go way much further than, like, I know people will want to raise, but that does something to the morale and to your spirit more than just a monetary, hey, oh yeah, y'all doing good. Y'all working 70 hours. Let me give you a little raise, but y'all still got to work 70. You might have to work 80 next week.
Might have to work 80 now. Now I'm paying you about $5, $10 more.
Yeah.
I expect a little bit more out of you. To me, like I said, if I can give any gem to any entrepreneurs out there with employees, they're human. Y'all know I'm from Mississippi. I got this.
You good, man.
You have to value them, and just like how you feel if somebody's being dismissive of you, just because you're the CEO, you're the owner of the, trust me, people feel that energy. Like they literally feel like if you don't give a damn about them, and all you care about is, hey, did you get this job done today? And eventually you're probably going to lose them. They probably going to stick with you just long enough to get to a point where they can transition away from you. Eventually they will
get them skills from you, put it on their resume, and they out.
And honestly, in my industry, in construction, you're going to know well in advance when somebody's not happy. It's going to show in their work. Like when you start seeing like bare minimum, like work and skills being put into it, like, I have the construction house, so you can walk in and like, all right, well, Johnny's way better than that. He knows that framing looks very, like, it's not wrong, but it's also not very good. And their capability is way stronger than that. So you'll start seeing the warning signs when somebody just want to legit do a 9 to 5 and go home.
Now, I did want to comment on something, just kind of rewinding real quick. I did just appreciate, and you touched on it, the humanity of the way that you said you deal with your employees. Because it's like the first reaction, even when like Johnny could do better on the framing, isn't, all right, cool, I need to get on his ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, cool, he might have some things going on at home. There might be other factors that are factoring, like making him, more tired, anything like that. Like, I really appreciated the fact that you came in. You were like, okay, cool. If y'all are doing good, I'm gonna reward you. If y'all are doing bad and there's good reason to it, like if there's, y'all are tired, we've been working a lot, hey, y'all, take this time off. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get shook back, let's get recharged, and then we can go back at it again. Like I think that's one thing that a lot of people miss as far as like with being a small business versus being like a huge corporation. That's the extra touch that a lot of people don't get to have. And a lot of people don't get to, have with their boss that can come in and help them and be like, hey, I actually know what's going on with you as a human. So like use that to your advantage, work well with your employees, like make sure you're seeing exactly what's going on with them. Like you said, they're human.
And I appreciate that. Like I said, for me, it's a small company. In a sense, you have to know everything almost. When I say everything, not like every trade, every piece of in and out it works. You just got to be very flexible, just even with your employees. So if I go out to a site and I feel like the morale is maybe a little bit low, so before I go off or before I feel like, hey, all right, y'all just out here bullshitting, I typically will kind of walk around and figure out, well, what's what. And if you are approachable, they're going to tell you. No, they're going to tell you. Like,
they're just going to be like, hey, man, like this what it is. But once again, that's whenever you taking that time out to build that relationship too. Yeah. Like sometimes you really just have to ask, hey, how's your day going? Sometimes people be like, oh, it's good. But you have to really, how's your day going? How's life? How's your family? How's your kids? Whenever you start asking questions like that, they'll really start to open up to you because they're like, oh, he really does care.
Yeah.
And he said it, being approachable.
Yeah, you got to be. A lot of people get in business, man, and they get this mentality that I'm the boss, and they want to use the I don't know the proper word for it, but I wouldn't call it a fearful tactic, but it's a very old school, unapproachable tact that's very known in construction.
What I say goes, basically, type of.
In construction, it's a very aggressive industry. So, like again, I'm more of the new wave of contractors, only because, like, in my company policy, like we don't disrespect each other. So, like, for me, being out on the project site, like you guys out there, I wouldn't expect you to be cussing at other people, so you're not going to be, cussing each other out either. Like that's against company policy. So you will be respectful. If you're going to agree to disagree, I'm okay with disagreements, but like, we're not finna sit here and do this old school construction where I work for companies where literally like it'd be a whole fallout in the middle of a project and it's normal.
Oh yeah. That's just Rick and John doing their normal Wednesday routine.
What happens is it's toxic. It's draining. Like I don't want to have a company atmosphere where people that they're like how I was, like you got to sit in your car for 10, 15 minutes before you walk in
to go deal with the people.
Deal with the people. So I work really hard at, trying to keep the morale high. Another thing is, it's nothing wrong as an entrepreneur and boss with including your employees in planning. I've started doing that lately, and that gives them so much buy-in because guess what? This project that they're about to do,
they might have some ideas in it too.
They had input in it. Even if I don't agree with their idea, just letting them sit down with you and be a part of that planning. Oh man, they gonna bug the crap out of you about when we gonna start. Because guess what? Now they have ownership in some of this project. Because guess what? They was part of the planning. So it's a lot of different things that you can do from an entrepreneur aspect to get buy-in from your employees, including them in what you do. It doesn't take power away from you. To all my business owners, you don't lose your power by including and giving your employees buy-in to what you're planning to do with any project. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. We don't know it all. And I say we because as entrepreneurs, we all in this together. We do not know it all. We have division, but we don't know it all.
I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone.